Humility, we've all heard about it. And we know that it is opposed to a vice. What's the vice called? Pride. That's not the full picture. But our society is very much based not upon taking the lowest place, it's upon scrambling for the highest place. And sometimes crawling over others to get to the highest place. Our society and cultures in general are not based primarily on service, they're based on getting ahead, getting a position. And I know, and you know, that one of the biggest things we wrestle with is judging other people. It's kind of built into cocktail conversation. You go to a group, pretty soon you're assessing who's better than me, who's less than me, who's more important than me, who's least important, who's with it, who's not with it, etc. It's just built into us. It's almost part of our needy DNA. So I want to talk a little bit about humility. There's a teaching, and this goes back to the Middle Ages, but it's a good principle to know. And the principle is virtue stands in the middle. The original Latin was virtus stat in medio. That means virtue is in the middle. And there are two extremes to which it is opposed. So humility is not just opposed to pride, it has a vice over here that it's also opposed to. And the fancy word for that is called pusillanimity, which is probably why nobody ever hears of it. Small-souledness, being chicken. Both of those are vices opposed to humility. A better way to look on humility is not groveling, it's not saying, oh, I'm no good, or, don't count me in for anything, I don't count. That's not humility. That's false pride. Humility is truth. Truth, the fullness of truth. And what is that truth? I am an absolutely, totally dependent creature. Everything I have is gift. Gift from God, gift from those who loved me, gift from those who raised me. Gift. So what am I going to take pride in? I've got a lot of gifts? No. Truth is, I acknowledge the gifts that I have received. I am grateful for the gifts that I have received, but I acknowledge that I am not the source of the gifts I have received. They come from God. And I give thanks to God for those gifts. I don't deny them. I don't pretend they're not there. As a matter of fact, I'm called to develop them and use them. That's the other vice over here I've got to resist. The kind of I'm just a poor housewife syndrome. We are meant to develop the gifts that we have been given. Meant to help them to grow and flourish. Why go to school otherwise? It's part of our responsibility to help those gifts that are given us to grow, to develop, to become better, to become more. Why? That we may in turn give to others, that we may serve others better, that we may give thanks to God by the service we give to one another. That's how we give thanks to God. That's how we are humble. That's the full picture. That's the full truth. I am blessed. I am gifted. I do not deny that. I do not judge others and their gifts. I do not feel and see myself as superior to anybody else. We all have gifts. We are all blessed by God. Different gifts, different people, different times. And we are to use those gifts, develop those gifts, and use those gifts in service of others. That is how we give thanks. Perhaps one way of summing this up, there's an interview I read from the great Italian tenor Luciano Pavarotti. He said, it's a beautiful thing in life to be kissed by God. I give him thanks by doing the best I can. Beautiful thing in life. All of us have been kissed by God. We give him thanks by doing the best we can to develop those gifts, use those gifts, serve others with those gifts. That's humility. That's the gift of the virtue